Interestingly, like you said, we saw some heavy gunfights looking to come out. And we're going to be seeing McGinnis and Vindicta looking to play alongside of each other, along with these long-range characters are just kind of being joined by some other gunfighters when it comes down to it. So hopefully we'll see some heavy stuff come out here. But this should be a little bit difficult to begin with.
Denies coming through early on. 3 denies in a row, in fact, coming through from the Cabal. And so you can already see their focus on denying farm and how important that is with last hitting early on in this game. Getting a whole half of your farm based on, obviously, half it coming from last hitting the minion, the other half coming from that soul orb. And you can't afford to just let those things float up. They will get stolen away from you, especially if a team is heavily focused on it. The Cabal, that is maybe how they got off to some of their more dominant leads early on in some of the other rounds. And even out of the gate, they're already, I mean, already at 1,000 soul lead less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still early days, so I do expect them to go ahead and maybe find a way to catch up. But look at this. We're seeing a bit of damage being done. Wraith putting up quite a bit, trying to see if he can pressure it down a little bit more. So far, not able to find anything just yet. But looks like he might be able to press that fight a little bit harder if he wants to in a moment. Vindicta's still going ahead, just poking.
On the other side, on that poke, right, Paradox actually was someone that got poked down very heavily. We saw an early rotation come through from McGinnis there, so that's really good team play coming through from Catgirls, making sure nobody falls too far behind. Taking a look at the health bars as well. It's Grey Talon falling low in that blue lane, maybe taking a little bit of poke. And it's on edge here. Who is going to find that first blood? Who is willing to commit first out of the gate? You might start to think it's going to be around some of these early item spikes. A lot of these characters are coming into that 1,000 soul mark.
Yeah, no, they're starting to get up there now. Of course, we do see Vindicta at 1.3. Has bought Headshot, but not anything else alongside of it just yet. I'm looking for him to buy a bit more. Oh, look at this. This could be the first pick coming through here.
A little bit of
Good
damage
with the Grey Talon. Yeah, no, he gets out.
Forced to retreat
second
there.
Yeah, no. I thought for sure that was going to come through there once he was bounced up, but just not the case.
Yeah, not enough damage in the tank, just hiding behind the walls. And these lanes, I mean, you think about a traditional MOBA lane and the differences that we see here, the complexities in a given lane, how many things can you stand behind, how many abilities go through those various walls and have area of effect damage as opposed to just line of sight damage. You start to think about how a different character functions as a 1v1, as a 2v2 in some of these lanes, and you also start to value health a lot more, right? Instead of backing in a traditional MOBA, you have to hop on the zip line and get all the way back to base until you can get that health bar to clean up, unless you have one of the actives that allows you to actively gain health in that lane. And so this poke that we see, I mean, we saw Grey Talon poke down a long time ago. She has stayed down, or he has stayed down at that low health bar for, I mean, 2-3 minutes at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard to get out of these situations because you know that if you do try and back up, there's a high likelihood someone's going to push to try and catch you off and stun you off the line as well. That's just such a threat coming into each of these retreats and each of these fights. And, ooh, good damage done there.
A little bit of damage from Viscous, as you mentioned, as the poke has been really good coming through from Walex on this Viscous. But, I mean, man, that's some good poke. There's a dive here around the tower.
Here we
First
go.
blood from Naked, and they're not stopping. They're continuing the push.
There we go. First pick coming on through. Of course, they're going to look to maybe try and push off of that to get off some damage onto the Guardian. Doesn't look like it. Just going to go ahead, find that pick back off, not necessarily wanting to overdo it. We did see Dynamo fall as well, so right now it's just trades back and forth. Neither side really having a superiority over the other into each of these lanes. But it looks like, at least for the time being, the Guardian here for Amber. Naked Catgirls. It's getting pressured down quite a bit, and Viscous is just incredibly low, 200 HP. He's going to have to buy something to go ahead and heal up here in a moment. He can't really afford to fight too much longer.
Got a lot of poke all in one moment. That's the benefit of those sniper characters. You can really be under a lot of pressure all in one foul swoop, depending on where you're standing on the map. But, I mean, despite falling for first blood, it's actually Catgirl and friends that gets that first blood. Still a little bit behind in souls. It got answered back immediately. Paradox fell, as you mentioned. That was a win from Hydration on the Moen Krill. And, of course, he's normally the Lash player, so he got targeted in this game and still able to come up with that solo kill over on the side. Meanwhile, another solo kill. Vegas finding a win actually in a 2v2 lane and then picks up another kill for the Cabal.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we could start to see them pull away off the back of this. It doesn't look like they've been able to just yet. These Guardians still holding decently firm. I will say, just looking at the minimap right now, the side of the Cabal is handily winning these HP pull fights, at least. We're seeing this side of Naked Catgirls losing quite a bit of health on each of them. Meanwhile, the Cabal, they're just keeping it at a decent health. No one really losing too terribly much. Barely down to even a 6 of their health.
Yeah, Paradox still remaining heavily poked out on that left-hand side, but fights happening across pretty much every lane at this point. Maybe trying to find something on an odd man fight as Viscous chasing down Grey Talon with the ultimate there, forces into the sky, but full HP for this sniper, so nothing will come of that dive. Meanwhile, a little bit of support on the left-hand side, and I have to imagine you're trying to find some of these last hits.
Ooh,
maybe
Viscous.
it'll be Viscous. Oh, great
there we go.
cube. Saves the life, and he's able to stay alive.
I thought for sure he was gone. Just able to go ahead, pop that ability to go ahead and back off. It's good luck. Bit of damage coming through as well. It wasn't able to connect up. I thought that sniper shot might have landed. Tagged down Lady Geist a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit of poke coming through and continuing. I mean, I think our players to watch for this matchup have to be the snipers, right? Regardless. Maybe you get some pop-offs from someone like Abrams, someone like Shiv, right? Depending on the state of the game. But the most consistent damage you're going to have on either side are these snipers. So it's a question of if you're hitting your shots, you can win fights almost by yourself. You can get last hits with Vindicta with both sides.
Oh, Abrams.
On the other side, if you're not hitting your shots, you can be a detriment to your team in some instances. So some damage gets traded out. The Owl comes through, not able to pick up the kill, but Vegas will grab the Guardian over there on the purple side.
Yeah, there we go. That's that initial win. Of course, they're going to look to try. They'll go ahead and retreat off of that. It looks like Grey Talon will hang around, just look to see if he can keep the lane at a good point, which is fair enough. Meanwhile, big trap coming through. Look at this. First fights.
Wow,
really
disarmed already. Push back a little bit. Yeah, he's able to get the last hit, but I'm not sure this one's
Ivy.
over. Low HP. Needs to get a little bit more, and it'll be Geist with the double kill. Able to take down and defend the Guardian.
I know, that's absolutely massive. That's going to be Guardian getting really pressured out now. 4 players on the lane. Should be dead here.
First Guardian to fall indeed. It will go down for the Cabal. Looks like they actually took down a Guardian on the other side. So that wasn't the first Guardian in the game. My mistake. Purple did fall before that. On the other side, Naked Catgirls able to take the one in orange. So a little bit of pressure on either side, but I mean, we're seeing this compared to some of the other matches that Cabal have played. Naked Catgirls are putting up quite the fight early on, despite being down, you know, a couple thousand souls in these instances, and actually might not even get a chance. Abrams is in trouble.
Yeah, no big pick there. Gonna be able to go ahead and find out that first kill. They're gonna look to try and pivot off for a little bit more. They're aware of the second player. They're going to look for that engagement, find the kill into the Molo Krill. That's hydration being eliminated. And they could be able to push on to the Guardian for that. Yeah, they certainly will. They're going to push this. They just want to go ahead, gain themselves a little bit of advantage, get that extra AP.
Yeah, 4 players here early on in the game. Still pre-10 minutes, so none of those objectives have spawned quite yet in this one. But, you know, like I was saying, that... Wow, actually, that soul lead is completely gone. I did not expect it to close that fast, but maybe just the volatility of the farm in this game. That was an 8,000 soul lead that we just saw disappear from the Cabal. But now it might go back away. Cabal continuing the fight. Geist takes down Irie as they will continue to push up that lane, and it's yet another grouping for the Cabal, and they're able to take down 2 and more fighting on orange.
Yeah, no, absolutely massive to come out there. Of course, we did see Vindicta find himself out. One guy still playing for it. We're going to play for this fight. We'll see a very quick kill onto McGinnis. But, of course, the trade coming back through. Vindicta able to go ahead and play the pressure. Found the sniper shot. Continues to fight. Sees Ivy. Think he's opted out of that for the time being. Doesn't necessarily want to overdo it. Meanwhile, we're going to see the first urn looking to be picked up.
Urn looking to be picked up. Guardian taken down as well on the purple side, so they'll even up the lane over there. And as we mentioned, the earn spawn at 10 minutes, now just 20 seconds in. And this is, our first big objective, potentially, for this point. Not only do we have the mid-boss that spawned at the same time, maybe a little bit early to be considering that one, but that fight, if we are going to see a full-on team fight, oftentimes it comes around this soul earn. Right now it's Abrams that has that one in hand, so he won't be able to use any of those abilities while he's holding on to that soul earn. The question is, are Naked Catgirls and friends going to try and put up a fight and stop him from delivering this?
It doesn't really look like it. I mean, it's being guarded decently here as well. Hydration, just waiting on this moment krill. We do see even Wraith making his way up to see if he can play for that engagement, but I think it's just too little too late. He'll just go ahead, fall off that angle, sees Hydration, backs off immediately.
There was a little bit of pressure. Doesn't look like it will continue, though, as you mentioned. They'll get a little bit more in the soul category, and it's this bouncing lead back and forth. But the Cabal, they are the ones that are bouncing up and down. I'm not sure that we have seen any lead, even 1,000 or 2,000 come through from Catgirls and friends. But I mean, to be honest, even 5,000 souls or less, that lead to me almost feels like nothing at this stage of the game, because it really is going to depend on ability usage, where you're getting the damage, who's getting poked out before these fights. And to me, just in terms of raw damage output, it's still Cabal that's going to be favored around these, messy skirmishes in the middle of the lanes.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, at least for the time being. Of course, now we're going to be seeing, ooh, this is aggressive. They're going for it. They're playing for this fight. We're going to see Viscus go for his ult, able to get off a bit of damage there. Gets a little bit too far into the fight, though, is forced back. Of course, we do see a counter ult come through as well, but man, Hydration just incredibly low now. And we're seeing the picks come back through, though. They're able to find those kills regardless, even with these players getting as low as they did. And just like that, the Cabal going to be able to go ahead and clean sweep that fight, taking the Guardian. Meanwhile, Naked Catgirls, they lose 3.
3 sent back to base there, and a great turnaround from the Cabal, using their resources perfectly. Damage where they need it, nobody getting too low. And all the while, they're still able to put some macro pressure on this side of the map. Of course, being matched on opposite sides. You have these walkers being pushed down. It was the Cabal on the purple lane, and now they're actually the ones getting chased down. Mo and Krill falls instantly, not able to get out of there. And on the other side, it's the first flex, not the first walker taken down. Catgirls answer right back.
Yeah, no, able to go ahead and react to it rather briskly, seeing the kill along with the a quick walker elimination, and now it's just left down into a bit of a precarious situation for both these teams. I mean, neither one of them have huge advantages. I mean, like you said, the Cabal right now, at least, they've been able to do a lot to find themselves these kills and get themselves these Guardians and as well as the walkers, but for the most part, we're just seeing Naked Catgirls keep up with them to a degree, to say the least.
Wow. And I mean, to be honest, the last 5 kills, the last 10 kills, almost all of them are coming through in favor of the Cabal. You've seen a couple of picks, though, and this is maybe where Catgirls are trying to claw back into the game, are places where they have the group advantage, and they do not want to just sit down and take this lying down, because I think they are doing a good job of still finding opportunities to answer back and punish maybe some over-aggressive plays from the Cabal. For instance, Abrams is over here completely alone. He's been Wraith ulted, finds himself in a corridor, and I think he is not long for this world unless this be a crazy turnaround. He's got his entire team who's come and rotated to the fight. They take down 3, and they're looking for more. Another one falls, sent back to base. And just like that, I think he's caught out, and his entire team joins him and turns it on its head.
Absolutely enormous. I mean, just like that, now the Cabal, they've got themselves a massive lead. They've been able to go ahead and put themselves up at 91,000 souls. Meanwhile, the Naked Catgirls stuck down at 68,000. Up to this point, we've seen this neck and neck. We've seen the Catgirls respond and answer back in great ways, but all of a sudden, it could be capitulating.
Not a spot where you want to be if you are the Catgirls. Of course, not as bad of a spot as you could be. We definitely still alive in this one, right? Have not crossed the finish line. All the objectives still available in this one, especially if they want to fight over mid-boss. A lot can change, especially in the chaotic world of how these fights are going. But I mean, I have to look at the value that these respective players are getting, because I'm looking across the board and I'm seeing a lot of these deficits are on maybe some of the individual players. I'm looking at Paradox getting shut down early, right? A couple of those deaths have maybe prevented the Paradox player from getting into the fight. He is such an impactful ult, but it's not really impactful if you get shredded as soon as you take your first step forward into a team fight, right? And so just not having that tank online yet, one of your more impactful ults, in addition to, you know, maybe the Wraith on the other side, typically an excellent pick for dominating a 1v1, shredding someone down, providing fire rate to the team. These players being some of the lower players in Souls is really going to impact how you have to take a fight as the Catgirls.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. I mean, just looking at the top Soul lead in the game, at least for the time being, you're looking at Infernus, you're looking at Lady Geist sitting at 18,000. They're going to have so much extra to work with, allowing them to fight a little bit harder than some of these other players that they're having to face up against. And now it's got to be a bit of a retreat. You can't really overfight now.
Massive grouping here, though.
Yeah.
A little bit of a push. I mean, I don't expect this to... There's not much to fight over right here in the middle of the map, but there's just this chaos being caused under these enclosed corridors. It's like everybody's able to get out with their lives except for Vindicta, who will fall for the side of the Catgirls. But I mean, to be honest, I don't know what they were grouping up for there for anything. There wasn't really any souls, any objectives they were fighting over. They just give up a pick.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit rough there. Of course, now we're going to be seeing the Naked Catgirls are probably going to go ahead and reset, look to readjust. They still have a Guardian they need to go for, along with 3 Walkers as well. Meanwhile, they've been shredded. All their defenses are down except for that final line. And now, as we do see them starting to make their way up, it looks like they want to press down on Orange to go ahead and maybe look for that Guardian pick, along with Blue right after.
We'll have to see how they want to use their pressure across the rest of the map. You see all 6 players now maybe a little bit further up. This is maybe the first time we've seen Shiv just almost past that halfway point, which is not somewhere where we've seen the Catgirls cross that midfield line for a little bit now. But I mean, I wonder if they're going to try and use that pressure to take mid-boss, or if it's something where, you know, it's a little bit early in the game, they don't necessarily want to risk anything at mid-boss, and instead would rather just farm up, maybe get some of their last items here. I mean, we can flip through some of the builds for the Cabal and just see where they're looking in terms of these final items. Have to imagine some of the 6,300 items being considered here at this stage of the game, and maybe that's what they're waiting on for one of these final pushes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be the case. And, well, now let's see. Naked Catgirls, at this point, if you were, let's say, a coach in a position where you're looking at your team, Naked Catgirls, being stuck down this many souls, what would you say they need to do at this point? Are they kind of just stuck into this and maybe say, GG, go next, look at the next map to maybe look to find themselves an answer? Or do they go ahead and see if there's something they can do now, even being 20, 30k souls down?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's over by any means.
Okay.
I do think they have to avoid situations like this. Giving up individual picks is what I was going to mention. You cannot be in that situation where you are handing an advantage over to the Cabal even before any of the fight starts. The way you get back into this is punishing an overcommittal potentially by the Cabal, right? You have some of these team fight ultimates, you have a grouping that you can make, but I mean, even for that, I would expect them to be fighting in their base, but we see 5 members, the 5 alive for Naked Catgirls. They were all pushed up in that orange lane. Just maybe playing with fire a little bit in this one. But, I mean, I say that as the entire team walks right past mid-boss, right through the middle of the lane. I thought they were going to pick it up, but they run right over to blue, and they've let Wraith respawn. So even for that first pick, I mean, maybe it's the Cabal. They are being the patient ones. They're waiting for the right opportunity. If you're Catgirls, you have to just hope they allow you an opportunity to punish and overcommit.
Well, now they're just going to go ahead and they're just not necessarily wanting to overdo it. Like you're saying, they're not wanting to overcommit. It's decent. They know that the defenses Naked Catgirls is well up at this point. We might see them look to try and make an initial push. Of course, Hydration is still just, just farming away, just looking for extra souls.
Yeah, I think it'll be the question of when they want to start pushing up here, because this is one that I'm kind of surprised as lasted this long with this little action, right? We just saw this lead a huge fight win lead to a 30k soul increase for the Cabal. You thought that they might turn around, buy their items, and walk right back up, continue the pressure, but instead they've really I mean, they're the ones controlling the pace of the game. There's no question about that. If they don't want to fight, there will be no fight as far as things are concerned right now. And it looks like they don't want to fight. Instead, they were waiting for this mid boss, but this is one where there might be a contestation. You can see the entirety of Catgirl and friends, whether or not they want to step up into this, but it looks like no, they're just going to back off. They just wanted to get that sound cue, see if they could maybe bait Catgirl and friends into a bad spot.
Well, now as we do get this back underway, we're looking for this mid boss to be contested. I mean, there is potentiality for a steal as well. I mean, let's just say Dynamo drops down from the middle as the gem descends and ults onto the team, grabs them all close, and his teammate comes through and picks that back off, right? I mean, there's decent positions where we could see the Cabal go ahead and fight that out, win the battle against the boss, and then just have it completely stolen as well.
A little bit of a grouping again, and maybe pose the question. We asked the game, or you asked a great question, how Catgirls can get back into this. But maybe the question is, how does the Cabal end? Like what are they waiting for, do you think, to try and push into one of these lanes? Are they just waiting to find their picks for somebody to misstep on the other side, or is it just they don't feel strong enough yet?
I doubt they don't feel strong enough. I mean, there's still, at this point, the lead has expanded to 40k, just 44k at this point. So, I mean, there can't be a way for them to be feeling overly weak. We're finally seeing one of the Guardians fall. That's much needed. A little late, but better than never. We'll see a read push coming up there on blue as well.
Yeah, you're at least able to say, yo, guys, we got all the Guardians down. Don't worry. No, they can't even say that. The orange one is still standing. I didn't realize they still had one tower left. At least they're able to say that they got a walker on the other side. And that does open one of the flex slots for them, which I think is, I mean, that's a big thing. There's a common saying, if you don't get that first flex slot, you might as well not play the game. But,
oh no, Viscous.
Yeah, Viscous caught out a little bit, trying to make it out. Will find himself in a corridor with Abrams, as I mean, it's just it's both sides playing cat and mouse at this point, waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
I know they definitely are, and well, maybe they're eventually going to go for mid-boss. I do want to see one of these teams go ahead and try and finish mid-boss. It comes down to seeing if the contest comes through. I think that's what could decide this match, or at least this map.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, at this point, I don't know what they want to do here. They're going to look to see if there's a pick to come through. It looks like he's just going to be able to escape decently cleanly. He does get stuck by a trap, but does get away ultimately.
There's a lot of players chasing, though, and Furnace coming around the back, looking to find a little bit of poke, and the Catgirls are completely surrounded by blue players here. Talon now joining the fight, looking for some final picks, and is able to find an assist. Car Battery takes out the first one in Shiv. Yonder finds the second in Viscous, and it's Vindicta now under pressure. Falling is Panay, 3 down for the side of Naked Catgirls, and this might finally be the push opportunity for Cabal.
Yeah, no, they're out. They're gone again. They don't want to overfight it. They're just going to go ahead and get the second pick off there, and we'll see eventually McGinnis fall along with Dynamo. I mean, that's the reset. I mean, there's only one player alive. That's Wraith. Just go for it at this point. I don't know what they're waiting on to at least get damage, but oh, here we go. This is where they're going to look to end it. They'll go for mid-boss. They'll finish that off. Look to get the gem. No one can contest.
Finally, they have this in their back pocket. And like you said, this is maybe now the time to push. They do have some low respawn timers, right? 4 now alive, but those 2 that they killed towards the end of the fight, still 10+ seconds on Paradox and McGinnis here. Good poke coming through from Talon, though, and Wraith all of a sudden feels a little bit worse defending on that left-hand side. But 4 players grouped up in that orange lane, And have to imagine with this rejuvenation, they're going to feel really comfortable just pushing up, trying to knock down some of these base guardians.
And they're just going to go ahead and look to pressure those down, get those flex slots open. But, I mean, I would love to see them try and press through, but they're still not committed into this fight. They're not committed into ending this. It looks like a couple of picks comes through. Of course, we do see hydration. Ko fall away there immediately. I mean, we could see them find the reversal into this. They're going to press down on to the Cabal, finding out at least a couple. I don't know if they're going to find themselves a third. I think Ivy falls here.
Shiv finds a reversal. Panay grabs another one. It's a 3-for-1 so far in this fight, but they don't want to push out too far. Don't want to bite off more than they can chew. And I got to tell you, as far as a sieging standpoint goes, that entire sequence, even after the mid boss, right? Even that whole fight, that entire sequence makes me really lose a bit of confidence in Cabal and their ability to siege. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks like they have come right back and proved me wrong. They pick up some base guardians, they pick up another kill onto Catgirl, and now we're at the point that's a 40-second respawn timer that they're going to have a man advantage here in the enemy base.
Yeah, no, we're not getting into this. The fight is really underway. Dynamo in a really rough position. It's just a full-on retreat. No one's overdoing it. They don't want to overfight. They'll give up the shrines for the time being. Couple of players fall. Vindicta, Wraith still out of the server. Of course, there are 4 players that can still contest once these shrines do fall. They're just buying time for the time being.
Owl coming through here, just making space. Actually, a very impressive use of that ultimate from Vegas, but I mean that secures them the shrine. Still one more. No, rather they've taken down both shrines. It's only the first stage patron here, the Amber patron, under attack from the Cabal. And to be honest, they have staggered these deaths so well that it's not really a full-on fight. If you're Catgirls, you want to fight back into this as a full 5-man squad. You want a full combo of the enemy team. You can't do that if one of your 2 members or 2 of your members are always in the gray screen.
Yeah, I mean, this is about it at this point. They've been able to bring it down to a weakened position for the patron.
Another pick.
There's a big pick. Gosh. Great talent just on top of it. These players falling one after another. They're starting to put the pressure down. Bit of an owl into the spawn. Oh no, Wraith. Just continue to be pressured. Great talent. This is brutal. And as we eventually see it all fall away, this is lit. The Cabal gonna be able to go ahead and take map 1 into their victory.